Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to take 2000 of this video. Hopefully the audio quality is good. Whatever happens, happens. I'm tired of re-recording this, but it's going to be essentially a PSA submission and some highlights from a recent shipment that came in from Japan. I'm going to be generally talking about sort of certain undervalued cards, or talking generally about why Yu-Gi-Oh might undervalue certain things in collecting. That's very general, but you guys will get the idea once I start talking. But all these slabs are available on my eBay, except for the ones that I've already sold. I'll try to point them out. Link in the description and in the comment section below as the pinned comment. So this is the card that held up the entire submission. Got a PSA 8 on this Scarlet Red Dragon Ultimate Rare. It was originally graded as a 10, and then PSA contacted me letting me know that they damaged it in assembly. I got refunded for the grading fee and also the declared value of the card, and I got to keep it. So obviously I would have preferred the 10, but it is what it is. Next up, we've got Ash Blossom in beautiful collector rare. I don't know what else to say. I hope it gets a collector rare in the TCG. Very, very cool card. Some more GX Ultimate Rares in Japanese. This one has incredible foiling. But what I wanted to talk about today is generally, what's undervalued in the sort of Yu-Gi-Oh collecting sphere today. And the thing that I wanted to talk about are, the specific types of cards are these sort of vintage Japanese cards that are first printings of iconic monsters, but we really don't put a lot of emphasis on it. I don't see a lot of talk about these things, and often they are quite rare, and so it's surprising that people aren't really chasing after them. At least not a lot of content creators when you compare it to something like Pokemon, where I think collecting Japanese stuff is pretty well accepted. They collect a ton of Japanese modern, which I don't see a ton of in Yu-Gi-Oh! And also I think they have more, I don't know if appreciation is the right word, but for a card like this is the original printing of Jinzo. So the first ever printing, secret rare. Even though it's out of Curse of Anubis, this is essentially the Pharaoh's Servant equivalent here in the TCG, the first edition secret rare equivalent. This is in a 9, but I think the population of 10s is under 10. Like, this is a very, very hard card to get, and yet, I don't really see a ton of people chasing after it. Maybe it's just that the community that collects Japanese cards is less vocal, but to me, it's always, mind-boggling when I see modern Starlight Rare sell for significantly more than a mint copy of, one of the most iconic cards in its original printing. And if nothing else, that tells me that sort of everything has its time, and don't put too many eggs in the modern basket, because not everything can hold value. People are going to sell off what's hot now because it's not going to stay hot forever. The best stuff is going to rise to the top, but even the best stuff from an era is not, it might always hold good value, but it doesn't necessarily have to hold the value it does at its peak. And so I've always been a little bit skeptical of Starlight Rares, even though they are, extremely hard to pull. A lot of people really like how they look. This card has already sold. I don't know, sorry, kind of a non sequitur, but I've been a little bit less optimistic about them. I don't know, that's just my take. Let me know what you guys think about Starlight Rares. Do you collect them? What do you think about them? Here's a prize card. This is the Rush Duels Gold prize card out of the Strongest Battle deck. So this was a promotion where they were releasing 7 structure or starter decks for Yu-Gi-Oh! Rush Duels alongside the Sevens anime. So they're releasing 7 of these things, and at the local card shows, or card stores, they were hosting tournaments where if you entered with one of the decks, you'd play in this tournament, and the winner would receive this card. Now, that promotion ended up it either got canceled or delayed due to COVID, because this was back in 2021 and Japan got hit with a large COVID wave. And so they canceled the stuff, but I don't know how these ended up being distributed, but there are only 4 of these in PSA 10, and it's actually somewhat difficult to grade this thing in 10, despite the fact that it comes in sort of a promo package with, Japanese print quality. So happy to have this in 10. Very cool card. And from my recent Japanese shipment, that's the word I was looking for, I got the Graceful Charity version of this thing. So one of these is definitely going in my binder. I actually have a still sealed copy of the Monster Reborn as well. And so it seems like they're going to be doing, a yearly sort of distribution of these prize cards where each year they do a new iconic spell card in the gold secret rare. And so first time was Monster Reborn, second was Graceful Charity. I'm hoping for a Delinquent Duo or Pot of Greed. Third one, either of those would be really awesome. Here's just a modern card that's very flashy. Cool. Here's Scarlet Red Dragon Archfiend. I graded a 10 alongside that damaged copy. Here's some collector rares. This brings up another topic, which is the idea. I've been trying to build this sort of framework. I come from a physics and math background, and so I always try to build sort of frameworks to how you can actually think of something. You need sort of a theoretical framework to understand what's going on, and so for me, I'm trying to build a framework to explain, why are certain cards more valuable than others, and why are there certain trends that we see, and one of the things that's interesting to me is sort of the idea of a protected rarity. Like when a card is printed in its first printing, why does that printing hold more value? And, what conditions have to be there for it to hold more value than any subsequent printings? And so one of the ideas I have is that essentially if it's printed in an ultimate rare, collector rare, starlight rare, or ghost rare, then its first printing, if it's in one of those rarities that I call protected, it's probably going to be the most expensive version of that, the most collectible version of that, unless it gets like a prize card printing or some super limited promo release. But the alternative is when the thing that gets me thinking why I don't have something like secret rare in that is because you have a lot of these secret rares that are printed and then they end up getting ultimate rare printings as sort of the second printing, and the ultimate rare is rare. You might look at something like Chaos Emperor Dragon out of Duelist Pack Kaiba. This is a cool card. Ultimate rare Black Rose Dragon, PSA 10. But where was I? Oh yeah, so you have cards like Chaos Emperor Dragon, original print, iconic Invasion of Chaos secret rare, but you also have the first edition Duelist Pack Kaiba ultimate rare, and that might, to some people, looks better than the secret rare. It's very limited. Those Duelist Pack Kaiba boxes are all but gone. They're super expensive. No one's really ripping into them anymore, and there's less in the population of those ultimate rare first editions. There are tons of the unlimited for, I guess, both the reprint IOC and the many reprints of the ultimate rare in Duelist Pack Kaiba Unlimited. But you compare those two cards and you wonder which should be the more expensive one, the more limited ultimate rare or the first printing secret rare. It's a question that I don't think has a good answer, but I can be pretty certain that if something that has an original printing as an ultimate rare, let's say they reprint Horus the Black Flame Dragon level 8 in any other rarity, they can print it in Starlight Rare. I would still personally go after the ultimate rare every single day of the week. It's the first printing and it's in one of those protected rarities. Why would you go after the new shiny Starlight Rare? That's just my personal preference. I guess you guys might think of me as a Starlight Rare hater, which I'm not, but I'm a little less optimistic than some people are, despite the fact that I will admit Starlight Rares have incredibly difficult pull rates, and so who knows where they'll end up. Here's a very, very cool card. This is the first ever printing of Blue Eyes Toon Dragon. It has kind of the old style text box, secret rare, and it's like pop 30, I think, around there. And it's maybe an order of magnitude cheaper than the first edition PSA 10 out of Magic Ruler. which is interesting to think about because I think its population is less. It's the first ever printing in the OCG, so obviously it precedes even, it's from 2000. It precedes even the release of LOB in, the TCG. So, it's always to think about why is that card not as expensive as sort of the English counterpart. Here we have Yubel, the Ultimate Nightmare. Awesome, awesome card. This one's also already sold. Dark Magician Girl, or Toon Dark Magician Girl. Here's just a random Ultimate Earthbound Immortal. These Earthbound Immortals don't get enough love. I mean, it's difficult to compare them to the Sacred Beasts from GX because you look at sort of how difficult is it to pull one of these Earthbound Immortals in Ultimate Rare, much less difficult than, the GX era, and the boxes. It's the 5Ds. Cards in first edition are often, a bit easier to get. Like Raging Battle first edition is much easier to get your hands on than Shadow of Infinity first edition hobby. But, I don't think there's a complete set of the first edition PSA 10 Earthbound Immortal Ultimate Rares in the TCG. I don't even know if all of the Earthbound Immortal have PSA 10s in the population. So, it's very interesting to think about. Here's a collector rare. Awesome Monster Reborn. Here's not an original printing, but this is out of Phantom God, Secret Rare Exodia, old style text box. Very, very awesome looking card. And then we'll round it out with one of my favorite modern cards. Here's Arcana Triumph Joker collector rare. So those are all the PSA slabs. Going alongside that, we have my shipment from Japan. So I've already shown off these prize cards from Rush Duel. And then I guess I'll show some Rush Rares that I bought for my personal collection. I'm trying to collect all of the 000 Rush Rare cards. So these are 3 of the ones that I needed. There was like Dark Lord Zerato and Abyss Soldier I still need from sort of the first era of Rush Duel. I can find them, but they kept getting bought out as soon as I, sent the listing to my middleman. So I ended up not getting any. And then I have a stack of prismatics that I bought. Just awesome. Astral Utopias. This is a retrain of Blackluster Soldier. This is something that I've had a lot of fun collecting. And if you're looking for stuff to collect that isn't going to break the bank and is very, very fun, I recommend OCG Prismatics. It's something that I've enjoyed a lot. The cards look beautiful. It doesn't break the bank to collect them. And there are tons of these things that are not available in the TCG in sort of a high rarity. I think it's very unlikely that this gets printed in Starlight Rare in the TCG. It's kind of the new Perfectly Ultimate Great Moth retrain. This one did not get an Ultimate Rare, a Starlight Rare in the TCG. It's Dark Honest, Astral Leviathan Dragon. Here's a 20th anniversary. Funnily enough, this is actually the card that got me into collecting modern Japanese stuff, because I looked at it and I was like, man, that is such a beautiful card. That was about 2 years ago. I have one of these graded in 10 in my personal collection. Oh, well, the one that I actually bought that got me into it, but just awesome looking card. And so maybe if you're still on the fence about collecting Japanese stuff, that might persuade you like it persuaded me years ago. Here's Master of Chaos, just some more awesome, here's another modern prismatic that you can't get in the TCG. I don't know why this didn't get a Starlight Rare in the TCG, but as a collector, you're eating quite well if you collect these Japanese prismatics, because there's just such a larger selection. They have so many more. I think it's like 15 per modern set. So there's just so much more to collect. This one we did get in the TCG. Time Wizard of Tomorrow, Red Eye Soul, Shooting Majestic Star Dragon, one of the Neoses. Unfortunately, we didn't get this in Power of the Elements as a Starlight. And then just the classic Wake Up Your E-Hero. I think Elemental Hero collectors are going to want this one in Prismatic. So, very, very cool. And last but not least, we have something that if you follow me on IG, which I recommend you follow my Instagram, you've probably already seen, but I have stacks of these Exodia pieces. For me, it was just kind of a no-brainer. It's like I can pick up these Exodia sets for cheaper than the individual pieces cost in English and Starlight Rare. And so for me, I don't know. I went in. I bought a lot of these things. I haven't looked at conditions and decided which ones are gradable, but I have a lot of these Exodia cards. So very, very cool. Very happy to have them, and they look incredible. So if I can grade some 10s, that'd be awesome. And I certainly hope that I can have a set to myself in my binder. So my voice is gone. This has been like the 5th take of this video, and it's past midnight. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Check out the eBay listings as always. Subscribe if you're new, like, and peace out.